My name is Michael Pulliam, and I am 27 years old. I was born in Seoul, South Korea. As far as the hospitals and all that, I honestly don't have any of the information, unfortunately.
And how old were you when you were adopted?
Last I know of, I was probably around only a few months old at the time. I don't have the actual specifics of it, everything. I have obviously my mother, father, and I have an adoptive sister as well. She was adopted also from South Korea, from Seoul. I don't know much about her background, unfortunately, as well. My sister and myself were the only Asians in the entire school district, and everything else was all predominantly white, black, some Hispanics. So first day of kindergarten, we got to the school on the bus. I get up from my seat and start walking down the aisle. Kid turns around, punched me square in the face. It was kind of a repetitive thing that happened every day, and it was just odd at the first time. So it's like, why was I being singled out? And I also noticed that not only that, but during lunchtime when all the kids were lining up to get their meals, I would always hear, obviously the most common ones, either chink, gook, and all that stuff, being yelled out. And as I was just online, I was wondering, are they really talking about me? And then it came to the point where I'll see the whole entire squinty eyes and all that stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're talking about me. And that continued on through all my elementary school days. Personally, my experience from early childhood to teens was more of the not sure of who I was, finding out I was adopted. I looked in the mirror one day and said, why do I look different? And I brought the question up to my mother and my father, and they both sat me down and then explained to me that I was adopted. They had showed me my foster mother, a picture of her, as well as my, I guess you could say, certificate that had my birth name and my how it was written in Korean. And that's pretty much about all they really gave me at the time. And as a 5-year-old, I was probably confused, but also at the same time kind of, I don't know, almost happy to some degree. Kind of finding out that, okay, I'm not going crazy. I don't think of myself, okay, I'm different for a certain reason, but now I actually know I'm different for a reason. When I went to the Museum of Natural History in 4th grade at the time, with my class, one of the kids at the time had said, do you know how they got all this to like stay still and all that stuff? The Asians nuked this area and then kept it frozen in place. And as I heard him say that, I said, so what was that about the Asians? And they all turned around immediately and looked shocked. And I said, all right, I see how this is. The mental abuse has shaped me in a way that has really pushed my limits as far as who I am as a person, as far as what I can really take and what I can really see myself pushing through. I will admit I've gotten to the point where I've either contemplated suicide or attempted suicide. I've gone to a mental hospital at the age of 13 to 15 because of it, and have seen myself grown even more so because of the fact that I could see myself delving into those depths and just coming out on top of that. I can accept things for what they are. I can see things for what they are. But as far as expressing my own self, I always keep a closed shell on that. Besides my own personal experience, I've had friends who have been on all sorts of spectrums of mental health, from being at the highest point of happiness to the depths of despair. And unfortunately, I've actually had a few friends who have gone over the edge of despair. I guess the first one that really comes to mind with that would be my ex-girlfriend, but also she was possibly my best friend as well. This happened 2 years ago with this, and it was just one of those things that just kind of became a shock to my system. I went through rage, guilt, and even, going to my own pits of despair for that. Because she was someone I still loved and still wanted to be with. And I even was with her the night before she did it, and even texted her up until the half hour she actually did it. There were many points in my time when I wanted to just end it all and just either stop all this pain from happening or just, I guess poetically, just want to be with her. But as far as my group of friends now, I've changed, well, from going from school to life, and then now a mixture of my friends are mostly Asian. It first started off at anime conventions, funny enough, that I go to every year, where I would meet a few people and like hang out with them and find out, oh, hey, you live near me? That's awesome. We should hang out sometime. It just grew larger and larger and just kind of became this small collective. It actually helped me as far as my mental health goes, as far as being happier to be part of that. Because it's again, like I grew up in a predominantly white, black, Hispanic area, and I still do. And there really isn't any Asians at all around that area that I could really go to or even hang out with. And it was just kind of like, do I really want to go out and try and see anyone? Coming down here and meeting all my friends that I've made over the years, it's fun. It's enlightening to like just be like, I'm with people I can connect with in a sense. I identify myself mostly primarily as being Asian first. As far as the adoptee goes, I never really put any of that portion into my life as far as identifying myself unless it comes up in conversation. And then I will say, yes, I'm adopted. And I shouldn't really expect pity from someone, I guess you could say, when they ask me that question. As far as, oh, you're adopted? I'm sorry. And it's like, don't be. I don't need to have anything as far as that goes. I'm just here. I'm alive. I'm doing well. And that's it. My name is Michael Pulliam, and this is my Korean American story.